Workout to start the day. We're talking cold calling in today's video, so make sure to stick around. I'm walking into the office with urgency today. My mentality is always, I am on the attack. I am the aggressor. Think about a fighter, someone that's pushing the pace in the fight, seeking out the action, and that's what we're gonna do here today. Sales is a contact sport, so you have to be on the attack to call people, bother them, make your ask, set up time, generate pipeline, close more revenue. And that's the answer right there. It's 6:46 p.m. for me right now. Before I leave the office, I want to talk to you about how to improve your set rates on cold calling. I have one unique tip that I don't think a lot of people talk about that I'm going to share with you here today. And if you stick around until the end of the video, I'm going to talk to you about my voicemail strategy. Everyone always asks me, Trent, do you leave voice messages? And I respond, do you do an extra rep in the gym? It's something you don't want to do, but you know in the moment will help long term if you consistently do it over time. That's my philosophy on voice messages. Hit the like button now if you've made a cold call in the last 90 days. Some of you may laugh at me for this, but I was just swiping on Bumble. A couple dozen people, a couple likes of people I thought were attractive, and a lot of people I said, no, not my type. But I kept going. I didn't get any likes. And I'm still gonna probably pull up the app tomorrow and start swiping on some people. It's similar to cold calling. You're gonna make calls. You may make a couple dozen calls. You may not set a single meeting. You may not get a single like on your Bumble app, but that's more of a reason to keep going tomorrow and or to have additional motivation to keep going today. The reason I share that motivation is because when you're doing hard activities, setting meetings completely out of the blue on a cold call, trying to find a first date with someone you've never met before, it is a challenging activity and you're not gonna find immediate success. It's all about volume. A lot of people recently have been messaging me saying, Trent, I've been struggling to set meetings. It's really dry out here. Are the phones not hot? And I respond back and say, same. I'm not having a whole lot of success setting meetings either. So you're certainly not alone, but if you have a tough 2-day stretch of no answers, or maybe you get body bagged and hung up on, look at the volume of 1,000 calls and trust that over time, based on the law of large numbers, your average answer rates, set rates, conversion rates, show rates will eventually revert back to the mean over time. So it will work out, it will be fine. And I want to start with that analogy to give you hope and optimism that although I'm not having a lot of success on the phones, I don't know how you're faring, let me know below, but it's going to get better over time. It always will, because we're going to keep swiping tomorrow no matter what. Look, as you think about setting more meetings, how to increase your set rate, here is one tip that I wanted to share with you that I don't think a lot of people are talking about. I know it seems obvious, but bear with me on this. It's provide the prospect a unique insight, an industry trend, something that they probably know their business better than you do, but maybe you can act like you know their business better than they do. Provide them something of value that compels them to take the meeting. Where I'm going with that is I'm currently reading the book Challenger Sale, and it talks about, for the last 15 years in sales, the methodology is ask the best questions, do discovery, align your solution to the customer's problems, challenges, needs. That's how you create value. You learn more if you listen. On cold call, it's a short period of time, but here's how we flip it on its head. What if the customer or prospect doesn't know what they want? You are there in a position to teach them, to challenge them on what they should be thinking about. So think about that next time you're on a cold call, and rather than just going into your pitch of, we work with 75% of the Fortune 100. Oh, we're the leader in the space. Wait, did you know we have the best analytics, clearly, in the entire world? They don't care. You got to tell them something that they should care about, something that they're not thinking about. Teach them something. That in and of itself will be valuable enough to then justify saying, well, look, it sounds like this is an area of interest. I know you liked the data point I shared today, data, numbers. I'd like to set up a brief introductory conversation to learn more about what you're doing today and share how we may be able to help. And also share how we've helped other customers in your space. What's your availability tomorrow for a conversation? It's all about providing that value and that insight. And that's ultimately the challenge with this. And something I've been thinking about as well, because I've been seeing a lot of messages on LinkedIn. Thank you guys so much for the support on the new podcast channel, Sales Prestige Podcast. You guys have been blowing it up. It really fires me up. We got some big guests in the works, believe me, so stay tuned for that. On LinkedIn, I see a lot, and I've been replying to messages, and a lot of people reach out to me to make asks for my time. And here's a big thing when you're making an ask, and this plays into cold calling, because when you ask, you have an expectation that you're going to receive. What if you start making asks with no expectation in return? From a cold calling standpoint, you of course have to make the ask for their time, and you expect them to set it up because that is your job. You're paid on pipeline generation, setting meetings, generating revenue, whatever it may be. But in your overarching life, when you're thinking about interacting with people, give without expecting anything in return. And I think that that will start to pay dividends when you are in the position of hoping people then reciprocate and accept your ask. As you think about cold calling, this is my headset right here, by the way. I like to have it on the videos to show that, look, I'm in the frontline trenches just like you. I'm doing the work. I made 60, 70 calls today. Not a whole lot of success. We automate our voice messages. So I have 4 pre-recorded automated voice messages that after every call in my sequence, I press voicemail 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you cannot automate your voice messages, first off, if you can automate your voice messages and this isn't something you're doing, I highly encourage you to do it. Think about if you make 100 calls and each call takes you 30 seconds. 30 times 100 is what, 3,000 or whatever it is? 3,000 seconds, what does that span out to? Like 30 minutes? I don't even know, but it's a lot of time. So if you can automate it and save yourself 30 seconds, it's going to be big time from a time management standpoint. If you cannot automate, I would still encourage doing the voice message. Early in my SDR career, I would always leave the voice messages. You know what? I wouldn't always leave the voice messages because I don't like to do it. I still don't do it today. But I'm giving the advice because I try and leave as many voice messages as I can. And if you're not doing it at all, it's a missed opportunity. In the voice message, start off with an insight or an industry market trend similar to what we just talked about. Give them a reason to call you back. I say, look, Judy, I noticed that you oversee the HR vision and strategy at Build-A-Bear Inc. One trend we're seeing is that the Great Resignation is putting a lot of pressure on organizations attracting and retaining talent. My company, Qualtrics, helps you to do that. Improve engagement, retention, productivity. No need to call me back. No expectation. Take a look at my email. I share more information that may be relevant to you. Have a nice day. That alone will hopefully intrigue them to then check out my email, and that's all I want. I want to improve the recognizability, the brand, so that when I call them next, they're saying, oh, Trent from Qualtrics, he's not going away. Let me either tell him no, or let me see what he's up to and maybe hear him out. That is my approach on cold calling. It's a specific subset of the call as you think about making the ask, provide a unique insight. Let me know any additional questions you have below. I read all the comments. I respond to all of them as well. Connect with me on LinkedIn if you haven't already. Of course, go subscribe to the Sales Prestige Podcast. I am expecting you to do that if you like my videos because we have big guests on the way, and I really think that it's going to be big. It's going to be the #1 sales podcast in the world. Believe me. Give it time. Thank you guys so much for watching, viewing, listening, subscribing. I'll talk to you in the next video. Have a nice rest of your day. Bye.